Hey guys, so I'm just making this video to kind of put out a disclaimer. Essentially, just want to say you can see there's restructure to the channel, and we are going to continue Starlight Shadows as a podcast. But I'm putting this disclaimer out saying that a lot of the things we're going to be talking about in this episode aren't really going to be that relevant anymore. Probably we talk about like the Skeleton Crew trailer, and I actually really enjoyed Skeleton Crew the show. But you'll probably hear me talk a bunch of crap about the trailer because these were done a long time ago. So obviously the relevance isn't really there. The reason I'm putting these out is because Josh gave me his time, and I just wanted to make sure that his time wasn't wasted and that these actually still got out there, and then we can continue on with the new stuff once Josh and I are back together. That'll be a lot of fun. So anyway, a lot of changes going on with the channel right now. Bear with me. We're getting it caught up. Thank you for your time. So you and I saw Deadpool and Wolverine last night, so that was fun. I know this is a Star Wars show, but I thought I'd just kind of get the audience and, a little bit of a tidbit about what we've been up to. Obviously, we're delaying the show by a week here, and we apologize, but not really, because, this episode of Acolyte, it wasn't, I don't think, for any of us, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. But yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine, really good movie. I thought it was awesome, actually. Best since Endgame, I don't know, I really have to weigh that out. I know a lot of people have been kind of like using that as their, parameter for, how good this movie is. Like, is it the best since Endgame or not? And that's a weird thing to me. Like, I don't know, I thought Shang-Chi was pretty awesome. So, I mean, there's, other things that have been good. It's not that, it's just, anyway, my parameter for this was like it just needed to be really good, and it definitely was. And yeah, I thought it was pretty awesome overall, and had a great time with it. It's just fun. Yeah, you liked it too, I think, Josh, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I very much love that movie.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Endgame, so I don't get the best thing. I didn't like Endgame that much. I will say, but the good folks at home don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan of X-23, and seeing her once again on the big screen is great. Logan's awesome. One of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Favorite Marvel, superhero movies is in my top 3. Everything about it was everything it needed to be, really. Yeah, I got Wolverine, I got Deadpool. I mean, my God, did he say he gave you what the title gave? Yeah, because that's all it needed to do. It didn't need to do anything crazy.
I agree.
Put those two on the screen together, give me cool action, give me good jokes, and my God, all the references to the comics. Like, people are like, oh, it's a love letter to the Marvel movies. No, that's a love letter to comics.
Yeah, I appreciated within the bits it didn't stray away from being culturally relevant either. Like, it definitely, and it went after everybody. Just so we're clear, like everybody got hit with jokes and insults, and it was a real hoot and holler of a time. So yeah, man, I definitely recommend it if anybody was for whatever reason hesitant on it, although I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna get out and see it anyway.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna do well. It's theaters, there weren't really that many people in there.
Sure. Yeah, no, man, it was
only nearly sold out, not completely sold out.
No, man, I think it'll do gangbusters, but yeah, it was fantastic. Genuinely, it lives up to the, I don't know if it's my favorite Deadpool movie, but it's a worthy entry for sure. 3, I would at least say that.
A perfect superhero trilogy, which is rare to get.
It really is. Like, it's like about as perfect of a trilogy as you can get. Yeah, I agree. Like, I think I mean, I know Dark Knight people throw in. I don't know if that's like perfect. I know some people are mixed on Rises. Yeah, we've had our share of good ones, but yeah, this one is really, it's definitely high up there in the rankings of like superhero trilogies for sure. I think it'll be looked back on pretty fondly. What I like is, well, I won't get into the spoiler of it, but this third entry is definitely like, if it were to stand the test of time, it kind of can. Like, there's definitely connections to like things that were that's kind of what I like the connections that it's making to like real world references are like, I think with each movie you can kind of look back at them and like they're joking about things that were culturally relevant at the time. So this like So they're kind of like these like time capsules in a way, like each movie, because I think people will like watch them in years time and be able to love them for that, because they can look back and be like, oh, historically or at this time, this is like what was being joked about, or this is what was all the outrage at the time, and Deadpool just as he did this time, as he does every time, he just jokes about it and doesn't care. It's there's really not a lot of limits, and Marvel let them. I'll give props to Disney, this one being their first one, they let them go at it. They didn't really give them any restraints or anything. There was definitely a lot happening in this movie
what makes the jokes work is they don't linger on the jokes.
No.
Like you get like 15 jokes a second with Deadpool. Mm-hmm. Like he'll just throw out a quip about something and then boop, move on. So that's probably why they'll also stand the test of time, because it's not like some shows where like you'll watch like the scary movie movies. They'll do like, oh, Michael Jackson, haha, and like it just lingers on that Michael Jackson joke. It's like, oh yeah, that's what it felt like in 2005.
With Deadpool, it's like you'll have the like the very end jokes, the inside ones that they're very inside baseball, and you got to be like really paying attention to what's going on to get it. But then like you'll have one like right after that's like for everybody, or for just the casual viewer too, or whatever. And like I think people on all ends of it will have a good time with it, at least I feel that way anyway. But if they're but there are definitely like references. I was thinking about that'll go over some people's heads. I mean, for sure, it just is. But I think for the most part, though, I don't know. Maybe I just feel this way because I feel like I'm in the bubble. Like most people know what's going on, and when it comes to Marvel and stuff, like people know who Kevin Feige is, right? Like I think so, right? Like outside of our little bubble, I think at this point, those people who just like the Marvel movies pretty much know who Kevin Feige is, and they'll get like jokes about him or whatever, and I like that he kind of explains in the beginning without giving anything away, like what's been going on, so if you are somebody new, you get like a long story short version of what happened between Disney and Fox, and they did a pretty good job facing that head on. But well,
it's like my dad, he doesn't really follow like who does what in Disney. He just watches the movies as they come, right. But he caught like, oh, Kevin Feige is like one of the Disney heads, and he does not follow any news articles about Disney. He just watches the movie. That's it.
That's what I mean. I think people have a general sense of like who Kevin Feige is, and have a general sense about who Kathleen Kennedy is, or things of that nature. Like I think in general, like that's the public persona. I think is like, oh, they're just person in charge. Like it's just they might not know the minutia of their job, but they're like, big person in charge, big corporate person. When they think of those people.
Kevin Feige also in She-Hulk?
Sort of. Not really. He's referenced in She-Hulk, yeah.
Because I thought there was like some robot named Kevin or something.
There's a robot named Kevin. It's not actually Kevin Feige, but there is a robot named Kevin. Yeah. I mean, he's like, I think he's in it in like a screen in the background, if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, so I mean, I guess if like somebody was keeping up that much and they actually got through all of She-Hulk, they might know who Kevin Feige is by now. I thought that that might be one of the good benefits of She-Hulk being around. It probably explained to like more casual viewers who Kevin Feige is, or at least got them to research more. Because at least at that point it was like, if you were confused at that point, you definitely wanted to understand the joke, I would say, and you probably did your Googling. Anyway, welcome to Starlight.
I'm getting
sorry
notions that you weren't a fan of She-Hulk.
I have a review on the channel. People can see my thoughts. I said, I mean, I'll sum it up what I put on the thumbnail.
I'm being sarcastic, dumb.
Okay. No, but like, just to be honest, like it's fair because like on the thumbnail I said a great character, mediocre show. I thought Tatiana did a great job with the character. I think she's a good actress, and if that character were to continue, I think that she's the right person for it and all that. But I thought the show overall, mediocre. I mean, there were some episodes that worked, but for the most part, it was fine. Anyway, welcome to Starlight Shadows. I'm Dom Martino. That's Josh Richards. We are going to be finally, I think we're both ready to rip this Band-Aid off talk about the Acolyte finale in spoiler detail. Yeah, like I said, a week late here, but that's all right. This episode is wrapping everything up as it should, or trying to wrap everything up, I should say, because I don't feel that it succeeded on that level. That's my overall thoughts. Like, I don't think it succeeded in a wrap up per se. It got me to a point where it was like, okay, you're here now, but why didn't you start here? Like, when this episode ended, that was my overall feeling. Like, where you're at now is where you should have started. Because it really does make the rest of the season feel pretty redundant and forgettable, and it's just, to me, I just didn't understand the motivation behind telling a story that is, again, a prequel to what I think the big fan demand was, that's, and I think, like, I don't think it's going to get a season 2, is, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on who you are. And I think that the problem with that is, there's things that are in here that we all want to see followed up on to a degree. But it's some of the smaller stuff. But we'll get into spoilers and all that, and I'll give my thoughts and where I think they should go from here later.
I don't think we have to worry about spoilers, man. It's been out for over a week.
No, we're going right in. I mean, we're going right in. Okay. I mean, you didn't like the episode, right, Josh? You can just tell people.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
This is legitimately my last episode of Acolyte, even there's a season 2. I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go, oh, it's the worst thing ever. I just don't care.
Yeah. No, it's very forgettable. It's very just... Yeah, out of sight, out of mind, I think. And, I will say, I think as an episode, again, I said this when I saw it, and I feel about the same now. I think as an episode, it's a good episode. I wish they would have built to it better as an episode. It's good, but it's not a good finale by any means, nor did it do the rest of the show any justice. It was definitely, I liked watching it more than last week, if we're talking entertainment value. That I'll start
because you got actual episode.
Yeah, I'll start with the positives because there's so few of them. I mean, the lightsaber duel with Chimere and Soul was outstanding. Like, if we're talking about the way it was done, like, action wise, outstanding. I really enjoyed, and also, just really quick, going back to the fight, like, and Michael Abel's score throughout the series, consistent. I'm open to him doing more Star Wars projects. I do think that he captured a lot of really good feeling throughout the show. Like, as a composer, I'm very open to him doing more Star Wars projects. I not on the level that I am Kevin Kiner, but still, he's probably the closest with the shows since Kiner that really, I think, captured more Star Wars feel. Even before the fight, talking about, I have problems with the storytelling of this, but if we're talking just as an action sequence, I mean, the May and Soul space chase felt very Star Wars and in tone, and it really got me to where I wanted to be with the show, in a lot of ways, just with that one sequence. And then even just moving beyond that, I like a lot of the stuff with Osha in this episode. I actually, I mean, her force choke was cool, again, not from a storytelling perspective, but from a visually aesthetic perspective, and the way that tonally, when she did, here's where we're getting big spoilers, kill Soul, final, that was, it felt epic, but it just didn't, it would have felt more epic had they built to it better. And I also enjoyed the crystal bleeding, finally seeing that in live action was super sick. And then watching that saber turn from red to blue, really worked for me. This is, I think, where we're going to really disagree, Josh, on this one. I enjoyed Plagueis. I genuinely did. I thought the appearance was good, and I worked for me, the way that they dropped him in. But again, it all goes back to why didn't we start here? But I did enjoy the the way they used him. Like if this was the first episode of the show I wanted to see, that would have played really well. Like if this was a season that was actually leading into Plagueis, and this was the first episode, I'd be like, that's a sick tease. You know what I mean? But yeah, I know you disagree probably.
Yeah, I don't know how much you watched South Park growing up.
Quite a bit actually. When I was growing up,
so
more than
the
I do
earlier
now.
seasons.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty familiar with the earlier stuff. Yeah.
Okay, they literally did with Plagueis what Trey and Matt did with Gray Aliens.
Oh.
If you looked in the background, they'd be peeping around.
Yeah.
That's literally what they did with Plagueis.
Yeah. But if this is the first episode of a season, you'd probably, it would have played better, right? I mean,
it would have, yeah, definitely. Because then I'm like, oh, cool, what's going on with Plagueis?
Yeah.
Because I know there's 7 more episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, just a crazy notion, a wild idea. Do a show about Plagueis.
No, that's what I'm trying to get to, is like they got me there, I think. And I think given a season 2, that's probably what they were wanting to do. I think I think that maybe the goal was maybe with Leslie Headland's take, I don't know. And again, I've heard many different things. I've gathered a lot of information about what happened behind the scenes here. From my understanding, this show was supposed to be much longer, and a lot of other things kind of went down, and people just were not agreeing on things, from my understanding. But if Leslie Headland's going to take the ownership, and she has been, I would say that what I think that maybe she was going for was like, I mean, I do think that they thought they had a banger of a show, in the sense that they thought like, oh, this will be like a cool, it's a twist. This really is the Dark Plagueis show. And it's just like, it's not really a bamboozle or a good bamboozle when we're already just like checked out. You know what I mean? Like, we're at this point, you've already checked us out. We're already out of the show. So if you're looking at it to be some type of like crazy plot twist, then no, Plagueis does not work in that sense. When I say I liked Plagueis, I enjoyed the visual of him, like the look of him. I thought they got him down. Like, if this is what Plagueis is going to look like in live action, I'm okay with it. Granted that I would need to see more and more of him, what he'd look like in light and all that kind of stuff, but in better lighting. But I mean, so far I was like, oh yeah, it looks pretty good. And yeah, I wasn't quite sure they were going to reveal him in this episode. I thought it would have been smart, and now I'm kind of walking that back a bit, because I'm not really sure it was smart. The way that it was done was more or less like, I think it's got people divided even more on it, like, because the people that really loved it, they do want to see the Plagueis story continue, and that's fair. But I also think it's fair to say, hey, like, and I'm kind of on both ends of it here, because I think it's fair to say, like, this show didn't do a good job with the story it was telling. Why should we think it would do a good job adapting Plagueis? I think I could see both ends of an argument there if we were to move forward to season 2. So, oh wait, one more positive. I want to throw this out there. The senator that shows up at the end. It's a positive and a negative. The one that comes talking to Vernestra. Actor was great. And it was the first time that Vernestra was in a scene that I thought was like actually compelling and had something to do. And sadly, my thoughts were like, why didn't he show up from the very beginning? Like, why wasn't that a story point you were planning from the very beginning? You had the senator that, as far as we know, maybe is being influenced by Plagueis, or something too. Who knows? But he's just against the Jedi for whatever reason. And it's just like, that could have been a really cool, lingering topic and story point to have in the background, like of this entire series. And it would have added just this extra layer for Vernestra. Like, it makes me feel like when I think about, I hate to compare, but like when I think about like Andor, you have every character kind of has their own little conflict that they're put up against and going through. Like when I think about like Mon Mon Mothma in Andor, and you know we're seeing like her political struggles the whole time. If he'd have done something like that with Vernestra and the senator guy throughout the whole thing, then you know this whole show would have just been a lot more powerful, compelling, especially when it comes to the side of the Jedi. Because where we end, Josh, is we're ending with the cover up, essentially, which we thought. I think we were all thinking like maybe they are going to cover this whole thing up, and that's where it's going to end up. And then sure enough, we were right, because it was the only thing canonically, I guess, that made sense. But I have a lot of issues with that. Number one, all these Jedi that are left, I don't like any of them. I don't have connections to any of these people, with the exception of, obviously, Yoda, which is our final shot. But I don't like Vernestra, you know. I mean, I was never even like a huge Ki-Adi-Mundi guy, like even in the prequels, like even after seeing Clone Wars and some of that stuff, like I don't care about any of these Jedi. Why, you know, so why would I want to see more of them, you know? Like, that makes no sense. Don't get me wrong, again, I like Vernestra in the books, but like the way they've adapted her here, I don't like this version of the character. And it's not because she covered up the Sith. I mean, come on. I mean, I think that's fine, you know, to have the Jedi cover this up. It actually makes more sense that they did. I just wish that they led to it better again. Like, I think they should have built to it all the better. I don't know. Do you have anything to say jumping off of that?
So I'm watching, I got episode 3 on beside me.
Yeah, and he was just more fascinated.
And I looked out. Yeah, and I just looked over, and what race is the Inquisitor?
Oh, I can't remember what they called him. I know, but I think I know where you're going with this, though, because the guy in Revenge of the Sith is the same race.
Yeah, he popped up. I'm like, man, he looks so cool.
Yeah,
like, why did he not look like that in Obi-Wan?
No, agreed. Oh, remember,
I was like, man, he looks cool.
Remember in Obi-Wan, he looked even worse in the trailer, and then that was one of those things that got an outcry, and they fixed it. Didn't fix it, but they made it better.
But they look like Nosferatu in this. Like, they're so creepy looking.
I agree. No,
I looked over by a glance, like, oh yeah, I forgot that race shows up in this, or species.
Yeah.
So I do have from the night the episode aired, if you remember right, by notes, quotes, and jokes.
Notes, quotes, and jokes. Yes.
Yes, I still have them if you'd like me to go through them.
Up to you. Go ahead.
All right, let's see here.
I got time.
I gotta remember who said what, but I'm pretty sure by context we can both figure it out. If I remember right, this is when Stranger and Osha are in the tunnel.
Okay.
You did all this when you're little? Yeah. Then what did you do? I think that was that scene.
Yeah.
But I remember that line just being, yeah. See you in hell, Jedi. Was just fantastic. Loved it. Let's see here. When the senator fellow said, may the force be with you.
Yeah.
And you could hear like he said the saying. He said the saying. He said that.
Mm.
When I believe this was made to Osha. What do you want? Yeah, what do you want, Osha? And then my joke is the audience has been wondering this as well for 7 episodes.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Mr. Plagueis. Hello, I'm in the cave. That was the show. A little smiling friends joke about Mr. Plagueis being in a cave. And that's it.
Yep.
I did what I thought was right. I just remember that line coming out really bad.
Yeah.
I think that was Saul, wasn't it?
I think you're right.
Stabbing a phantom vapor.
No, he did.
He
did say that. Yeah. We'll talk about that too. Yeah, because that's another thing.
One of the lines that drove me absolute bonkers is when was it Vernestra? Is that her name? Green Lady.
Yeah.
Is talking to May.
Mm-hmm.
A pupil of mine before he turned evil.
Yeah. Yeah, straight out of New Hope. Straight out of New Hope.
Do they say the term evil in A New Hope?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems
he was a pupil of mine before he turned to... He says, turn to evil. I don't know why that played better, but it was also in like Alec Guinness's voice. So I don't.
Well, Alec Guinness is also a really good actor.
That's what I mean. It's like that might have made the difference in A New Hope. Yeah.
But I remember that line just stuck like a sore thumb.
Yeah, that's straight out of New Hope though. They did take that from New Hope. But
I'm happy that Zack Snyder directed a lot of this episode.
The slow-mo. I didn't mind it. Slow-mo.
I didn't mind either, but I was like, this looks like a Zack Snyder film.
No, it does. Yeah. That was like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon a little bit to me. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I now know the true tragedy of Plagueis. He was in this show. Yeah. And that's all I got. Have a good night.
No, moving back to that soul thing, though, because you made a really good point in that. I told you last week, or 2 weeks ago in our podcast time, but last week's episode, that like they wrote themselves into a corner with Soul just stabbing the mother. And I knew they were not going to be able to like find a way for him to explain that to OSHA, because like the only good explanation for that again is I got spooked. Like that's the only thing he could say to justify that, which is not good justification in general. And I knew they wrote themselves into a corner, and then we ended up with that line. I did what I thought was right. It's like, buddy, like they really like. They took that character way downhill for me in this last. It's just one episode they did it. Like the last episode that they just brought him way downhill. He was fine to me.
The random "I love you" scene was weird.
Yeah, no, for
and
sure.
I don't think it was like meant in like in a romantic way or any means like that. I just mean it was just weird because like I got no presents.
No, it's weird in a romantic way. Let's be real, like that.
Well, I don't.
I know that's not how they meant it. No, I don't think that's how they meant it, but it does come off weird like that. You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't. In my
I love you, and then I stabbed your mother.
Right? Like, no, I don't think
like,
in my heart of hearts it's
an episode of You. I don't know if you ever watched that show.
Yeah, I've seen an episode of You.
Yeah, very much like, oh, I love you. I stabbed your mother.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah, I just looked it up. You're right. The Vanestra line is line for line, but it's just I guess it's just delivery when it comes to that, because I can watch New Hope. I'm like, that line was great. Yeah. It doesn't hit me, but when Vanestra delivered it, this hurt.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, again, and we're talking about that actress who's just so bland. I mean, let me run into that too, because we have this like, I guess, like epilogue feeling area where she's kind of taken in May now, which I guess the idea here, again, this could have all been very cool if it was done better, was to, you know, from the very beginning, let's take these two twins and then flip-flop them. You know what I mean? Which I think, like, I could see somebody writing like a really good Star Wars novel about that. Like, I think that would be like, it sounds like a subject line, or like a subject summary, a plot summary from like one of the High Republic novels. Like when you look at that on paper, but you got to execute, and they didn't. And this actress playing Vernestra again is just so bland in this show. And here's the crazy part. So I started Headland's other show, Russian Doll. And this actress that plays Vernestra, she's in that. I've seen one episode. Well, two things. Let me start here. There's no way the person that wrote Russian Doll wrote this show. It did not happen. In my head canon, the person who wrote Russian Doll did not write this. Even though they're being credited for it. Secondly, the person that played Vernestra is in that very first episode, and when I'm watching her in Russian Doll, I'm like, yeah, she'd be a good Vernestra from the books, but none of that performance came through here. So I see why she got the job based on Russian Doll, but I don't know what happened. Like, I feel like it really does feel like a show where behind the scenes, like, nobody was having a good time making it. Like, I don't feel like anybody's heart is ever quite in it, like, when it comes to these actors. I mean, I think Vernestra gets the brunt of that because, again, she is the most bland and bringing this show way down. But I could say it for all the actors. I think even by the time we got to this finale, it kind of caught up to everybody. Like, I don't feel like anybody's heart is really in this, with the exception of Manny Jacinto. Like, that's the only person, by the way, going in this finale I cared about. I was like, yeah, I just want to know what's going on with the stranger. That was it, and we got a lot of cool stuff with the Stranger. And again, I give it that credit, but then we got some, like, even with the Stranger, we got some things that to me were just like baffling. Like, she's going over. For some reason, I didn't understand this. Like, May was confronting Soul. You know, Soul's lightsaber is behind him. You know, and Stranger's just standing there. But his whole idea was to take out Soul. But I mean, I don't know if he thought like May was actually going to do it. I don't know. I mean, Osha finished the job, and then I understood him standing there, just hanging out. But like, I don't know why he just didn't take out Soul right then and there, like in front of May. Like, I don't know. He could have been like, see, I'm the one that took out, you know, the man that killed your mother, and then he would have looked more heroic in her eyes. And I don't know. I don't know what the goal is there. And then, like, with Osha, again, I think that she's far more interesting than May. Like, again, if we were making this the first episode, I would have been perfectly happy with setting up, like, 2 Sith on an island that Plagueis had already occupied. And if it was, you know, the Stranger and Osha, you know, like, I would have enjoyed that start. That would have been a cool start. Like, imagine a show where you're starting with 2 Sith who are taking out a Jedi, that, you know, you could have wrapped all this up in an 1 hour and 10-minute episode, you know, if they actually wanted to, like, have the actual length of what appointment viewing has been. But they don't. And that's what killed this whole thing is the run times, the lack of ideas seemingly to make this work, or the lack of intention, I feel, to make this work. It doesn't,
or direction, really.
Direction. When with the exception of, again, visually, the show looked better than a lot of the other ones, and then also with the exception of speeder bikes, that'll bug me until the day I die. No, I'll forget about it. But yeah, other than that, like, and yeah, the lightsaber battles are cool, and all that stuff works. But yeah, the direction in terms of, like, where are we going? The lack of planning prior, you know what I mean? Like where are we really going to go? It didn't make a lot of sense to me when it came to that. Because yeah, go ahead.
One of my peeves just actually happened today. I don't know if you saw it. One of them sent us an article.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that or not. Of, Stranger is trained, or is the pupil of Plagueis. And I'm like, well, why was that not in the show? Why am I hearing this in an interview?
Yeah. Exactly. That's like, she had to, like, really go out. Like, your show's not doing very well when you got to send your creator out to do damage control every time an episode airs. You know, at least in the back half of it, she had to. And that felt like almost like a calculated move or something, you know, to, like, I think that they really thought, well, the first half of the season, you know, it won't be too divisive, you know, so people like the first half, and then, but when we get to the back half, you're going out and you're doing damage control, you know, like, because, you know, it was almost like
I got the quote here if you want me to read it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. We wanted to show Chimeras, which I guess that's his name is Chimera. I guess that's not a fake handle.
I guess. Okay.
Chimera. We wanted to show Chimera's master. We weren't going to wait for a second season for that. We wanted to wrap up the twin storyline. We were not going to leave everybody hanging. They sat through all of this. Well, they know our pain. Yeah. And we want to reward people for watching with a teaser of Plagueis. End quote, watching me teaser of Plagueis. So, you know, we knew what people wanted. We just waited until the final scene.
I just don't understand how that all lines up either, because, like,
no,
don't they have to, like, Plagueis is going to want to stick to the rule of 2, I feel.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
All right, can I get goofy real quick? Can I just get really goofy?
Yeah.
Okay, so we both been reading, spoiler kids, we both reading the Plagueis book. Yeah. And we're at the same part right now. Yeah. So you know how they're in the cave and they're mining was it Coruscant?
Oh, Cortosis.
Thank you. they're mining it.
Yeah.
What if he's just chilled in the cave with Tenebant or whatever?
Tenebris.
Is it Tenebris? Tenebris.
Yeah.
Dyslexia, it's fun. Tenebris in the cave. They're mining, and they just hear all the ruckus outside. He looks at it, he's like, "Hey, we're mining back here.
Yeah.
I got to kill my Sith Lord, and I'll take one of you. Quiet down." Before he gets aware of what's going down.
Right. Well, the planet that they're on, where Tenebris dies in the beginning of that book. I'm kind of glad you went into this, because I was going to say, unknown planets. The one that looks like Octo. But if you read the beginning of Plagueis, they're on Baldimnik, which is it lines up with the planet that Osha and Plagueis and Chimera are all on. I think that is the planet. I think that's what they were trying to get to. Also, not to mention, like you said, mining Cortosis in the beginning of Plagueis. Like, it all lines up. Like, that they are cherry picking that easily from the Plagueis book. Which, again, I'll give them props for paying attention to that. But
if the lizard people show up,
yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, that would be the only tell.
It has to be. It's just that the all the setting.
I don't think so. I think it's just happy accident.
You don't think that this is Baldimnik?
No, I don't think it is.
It's odd because there's, Cortosis.
Unless he's just he is chilled in there with his master. He's like, I'm about to kill him, then I'll take care of you kids. Don't worry about that.
No, I had that same thought. Like, it's like I wanted to laugh harder at your joke, but it was like, to me, it was just the truth. I was like, that. No, I had the same thought thinking about that, because I was like, yeah, and then. That's the thing. Like, if you could start season 2, and that's how it starts, hey, we're getting somewhere. I think you'd make a lot of fans happy. They'd be like, okay, I guess Acolyte was pointless, but all right, here we are. The thing about
that's what they'll do. That's what they'll do. They'll do a Rambo. It'll be called Plagueis. And then underneath, Acolyte Season 2.
Yeah, you could do that. You could
do like that. Rambo, that was the First Blood Part 2 underneath, like a really small font.
This time, Plagueis was looking for the Acolyte. And that makes a lot more sense. Anyway. I don't know why they even bothered, like, going out of the way to show... Again, I thought Mandy did a great job, but Chimera and Osha and... all this, like, it's so weird to me. Like, you knew you were coming up to where you had to introduce Plagueis, like, you knew you were there anyway, so why go back and mess around with all this other stuff? Like, when you think about the series in its entirety. Okay, anyway, I wanted to jump. I'm jumping back and forth, but back to Vernestra really quick. I think what's really stupid is
you're gunning that character down. I love it.
Well, I wanted to talk about the idea of a cover up, because, like, okay, let's say the show ended here. I can, in my mind, draw the blanks. I could think in my mind, like, okay, I could see what happened from here to Phantom Menace. Like, I could make that story up in my head if it ended here, which, whatever. But here's the issue. Vernestra goes in and she's doing the cover up, and she's telling all of them, hey, it was Soul is the one behind all these murders. It's like super shitty to do, first of all. But whatever. It's her out, I guess. And then what's really stupid about that is all of them have seen that security recording of May killing Indara in the very beginning. But we're bringing in May here at the end, and she's welcome with open arms all of a sudden. What? Like, how did you get there?
Well, what it was is they didn't rewatch the last episode.
Yeah, apparently not.
And this works, whatever.
Yeah, it literally feels like the writers forgot. Like, it's like,
or it's a new writing team each week.
It's like when you're watching those 90s sitcoms again, and it's like, that's how it felt. And that's like, when you're dealing with lore like this, you can't just do that. Like, you can't just forget about things. That's so weird, especially when you're only 8 episodes apart. Like, that's how did you forget 8 episodes ago? Like, I got it in the 90s sitcoms. They'd go every fucking week, for a long time.
Yeah.
but
24 episodes.
Yeah, and 8 years long or however, it's like, okay, I
big
get
gaps
that.
in between.
Yeah, I get that sometimes, but this was embarrassing. That was something that was pretty embarrassing to forget about, and I don't even know. I don't believe in my heart of hearts they did forget. I really think they stopped caring by the time they got here. They were like, all right, we gotta wrap it. That's how the whole thing felt. You gotta wrap it. I wanted to go even further back to the beginning with Soul and May, because there was that line.
The I love you.
No, Soul and May, not Osha. When he's okay, so walk me through this really quick. The previous episode.
I will try, buddy. I'll try.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. 2 episodes ago, we ended. 2 episodes ago, we ended with Soul looking at May and saying, now you're gonna listen. He's been thinking about what he's gonna say to her for years. Now you're gonna listen. Like, and then
listen.
Episode 7's a flashback, and then we come back to this one, and Soul's sitting on the floor not saying shit. So are we to believe that what Soul wanted to say to her this whole time was the flashback episode? Like, those like old-timey special effects, you should have done one of those where you're like thinking
like where it does the waviness,
the whole screen,
the dream sound effect.
That's what you should have done at the beginning of the last episode then, I guess. Like, you might as well have.
You do it like a How I Met Your Mother intro.
Yeah. Like,
you have the narrating. So we landed on a planet, and Barney came up with the idea.
Right. Like, is that what we were to believe, though? That he was telling her the flashback story? Or
why not? It's a story for another time.
Because he's just sitting on the floor. He doesn't do a thing. And then he's sitting there, and then she runs away from... She gets out of the thing, which fine. She set Pip back to factory reset so he can get her out. It's like, that was convenient. That was convenience. And then she starts running out, and then the big line, it's supposed to be the big line, is see you in hell, Jedi, and it's like,
oh god,
did they think that was gonna get a pop from us, or I don't know, man. It felt like it.
It made it notes, jokes, and quotes.
Yeah, no, and like I felt like they really thought that was like a banger of a line. Like they had her say it so confidently, and it was not good. Really not good. It was not earned. And it felt like in a different project it may have been earned. This whole thing's a mess. Yeah. And then Basil's taking apart Soul's ship right in the middle of... It's like, what side are you on here, Basil? What are your intentions, you little furball? Like,
well, a little spoiler, Dom. Basil may be showing up later on tonight's episode.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, be ready for that. Be ready for that.
Fantastic. I must say, like, I do like Basil. I want to see him show up and everything and just ruin everybody's day. Like, after this, like, that seems to be the purpose of the character. Like, imagine, like, that's the plot of the Rey film.
He's Plagueis' master.
Basil.
Yes, this whole time.
If this gets to season 2, it wouldn't surprise me.
He's the true acolyte.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did season 2 and that was the spin. It would not shock me.
It would. No, I'd be. Yep. All right. Part of course.
Yeah. No. That.
I would dare even call it clever.
I just say, like, they really
bold.
I was like, I think we all miscalculated their purpose for this show. Like, I think that they would just, at that point, I'd be like, the point of the show is just to be crazier and crazier every week. No, like, I want Rey to get ready to start her academy and everything's going good, and then Basil shows up and just takes her lightsaber and runs off into the woods, and that's the plot of the Rey film. Like,
you just hear go, no.
Yeah. No, that would be fantastic. If that's the plot of the Rey film, I get it.
You know what? I'll buy the 4K of Acolyte if that happens. I'll buy that on Steelbook if that happens.
She's just chasing him down to the Benny Hill theme. The whole movie. I don't know what.
I don't know. I think they saved that for Leia and the Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Did you see any point to Basil by the end of this? I don't.
Yeah,
know.
actually.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
did.
Go ahead. Elaborate, please.
Oh man, I didn't think you'd actually call me out on it.
All right. He was trying to be nice.
Yeah, I don't have any point.
Okay.
But Basil will show back up in tonight's episode. Don't worry.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
All right. Looking forward to that. Yeah, man. That's the show. In a nutshell, like honestly, that's the show. It's Basil. And...
Listen, people sitting at home. Next week's episode is gonna be way better because we'll be talking about something actually good.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about something else next week. A book.
I am very happy.
Yeah.
To say this is the last time I'll ever have to cover Acolyte on this show.
Yep.
If anything, this is a tremendous episode. I'm filled with joy. I'm filled with happiness. Because for the past 4 weeks, 5 weeks technically, if you count, because we skipped it last week, I've been feeling pure dread doing this show because I'd have to talk about Acolyte and think about Acolyte.
Yeah.
And now I can actually talk about Star Wars things that I enjoy and I'd be passionate about and have good quips with. It's just gonna be wonderful, guys. Next week is the real episode of Starlight Shadows. Be ready.
We started out pretty good here.
We did actually. I wasn't hating Acolyte, or not. I guess hating is hating is the term. Or dreading Acolyte.
Yeah, it had us. That's the shame of it. Like we were in a spot finally where we were there. Well, we were like, let's, we want to like do some more research. Like we want to research the Sith now. We want to, and you got us there, but like,
I called it microwave Star Wars, if I remember right. It was just leftover Star Wars that you microwave reheated. Not bad, but it's not as good as it should be.
Yeah. I am actually pretty excited about our news stories today, though, to be honest with you. I think we got some good ones. It's possible, Josh. It's very, very possible.
How possible is it?
That a Star Wars movie actually may have already begun filming.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Let's talk about this. All right, so let me pull my screen up here for everybody. We're going to do the entire screen here. Here we go. All right. Let's take a look at this. Star Wars Mandalorian movie reportedly due to begin filming in about 3 weeks. I like how they put that. You don't want to be too certain, but about 3 weeks. That's what we're thinking. Anyway.
Yeah, maybe I'll give her
Ever since the announcement of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, updates about the next Star Wars movie have been quite sparse, but a new report suggests that this project may finally hit the ground running very soon. The movie, based on the highly successful Star Wars TV show The Mandalorian, was first announced back in January and has received little to no updates ever since. Audiences have since been anxiously waiting any kind of news about The Mandalorian and Grogu, and now a new report has arrived to offer a semblance of hope and excitement for these eager viewers. Shared by Making Star Wars, the upcoming The Mandalorian and Grogu movie is reportedly set to start filming in about 3 weeks. In El Segundo, this would put it about 2 months after its previously reported start date in June, though this delay isn't exactly a concern, seeing as The Mandalorian and Grogu isn't even set to release until May 2026. This time frame for principal photography, however, isn't the only news included in this report. It was also reported that some scenes for The Mandalorian and Grogu have already been filmed with a limited cast, which likely includes cast members who will not be available for principal photography. This, of course, brings one name to mind for many The Mandalorian enthusiasts, Pedro Pascal, Din Djarin himself, who has a famously busy schedule. If this is truly the case, then it seems as if Pascal could be seen in Mando's armor in the movie after all, likely without his helmet for the first time since the Mandalorian Season 2 finale in 2020. All right, so that's the news. But yeah. So again, it's kind of unreal to hear that scenes have actually been shot for a Star Wars movie. So I'll start there first and foremost. I'm happy that, Star Wars movie is, they filmed something. That's pretty good. That's progress. However, this movie, I mean, I think, Jon Favreau's directing, but like little to no details outside of that. I would probably line up with their theory on, it was definitely probably Pedro that they just were filming for now, and then probably get everybody else in later. Pedro will do the rest of the lines from home. That'd be my guess. And then, we'll kind of go from there. Yeah, man, I don't know. What do you think?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the sarcastic. Well, I don't really care. I mean, it's coming out. It comes out.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, remember what I said famously? It was on one of these Star Wars shows. What's the other fellow?
Okay.
The boy. I said, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
And I think it was about Acolyte. God, I wish I was right on that one.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about this. If a trailer comes out, if I have a ticket in my hand and the movie comes on the screen, then I'll believe it. But right now, I'm like, yeah, you can film all you want.
Okay. No, I mean, I think that they're going to get this one going. I am curious about this release date with May 2026. I mean, if you're starting like right around now, and this movie is, again, I would imagine that they want to scale back the budget on this. Like, if it really is a smaller film, which I think it will be. Like when I say smaller, I mean 150 million as opposed to the usual 200 to 300 million budget. I think that that's the smart thing to do. I mean, I think that this movie should be pretty simple. I think it should be a Mando Grogu adventure, like just make it simple, but make it good at the same time. Have that sort of lingering presence of Thrawn in the back, like we know he's on the galaxy and keep it tense that way. But overall, I think that for the most part, the simplicity of this movie should be pretty easy to do in terms of the scale of it. But I also think that it's weird to me, like if it is smaller scale, I don't know how they couldn't get this done by December of 2025. But it's done. I don't want to rush it either. So I think May is pretty good for 2026, I guess. So I don't know. I'm just confused with some of the timelines, and here's what I'm saying. Fine, if you're going to start it now and you think you can't get it done by May 2026, so be it. I'm just confused as to why they waited to start this one as long as they did. I don't know. It's just weird to me, but because I knew that the original goal was definitely to get something out by 2025, and I think that they could probably still hit that. But yeah, go ahead.
You said May 2026.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Is the ideal release. Let me check some real quick. One moment, please. It just disappeared on me.
The only thing I can think of too is Avatar in December. They don't want to.
Oh no, never mind. Okay.
Yeah,
never mind.
They probably.
I was looking to see where May the 4th falls on, and it's a Monday.
Oh yeah, no, it won't be May 4th, but it will line up with Celebration. I'm pretty positive. That's the other thing too. They want to use Celebration to build hype around it. So yeah, there will be that. But I also think
you don't really have to build hype. All you have to do is put out a trailer of Grogu doing something Grogu-esque, and everyone's going to go nuts.
I agree. I mean, I get that they don't want to compete in December with Avatar either.
Yeah.
That's fine, but excuse me. But I think that knowing this, though, I mean, if this is the May movie, then we're going to get not May like the character, May the month. This is the movie that's coming out in May. We're going to get. That means Rey is the December one. I would assume is the goal for them. So that'll be fine. That works for me. I think that I've had some interesting thoughts on what this plot could be, depending on what they do with Skeleton Crew and all that. Because like with Skeleton Crew, I do think it's going to take place on the other galaxy. I think Mando's getting hired for a very specific job here. I think that he's got a very specific adventure, and I think that the New Republic is going to be the ones to hire him. Obviously, probably Carson. He'll probably come up and find him on their ranch and be like, "Listen, I got a very specific thing I need from you fellas," and I think that job I think, is going to be to go get Ahsoka and Sabine out. That's what I think they're going to do with this movie. That's my running theory. Haven't heard anything on that, but that'd be a good bet, I think. Get them back over to the other galaxy. So I think that could be pretty cool. I don't know. So I'm really interested, though, as to what that leaves open for Ahsoka season 2, though, because
yeah, I was about to say that because what's going on with God, why am I forgetting his name? Lord, come on, help me, Dom. You know this. Balin, thank you. You let me drown this long. What's happening with him and all that? I feel like that'd be too cluttered for a Mandalorian movie.
No, I don't think that they'd follow up
Mandalorian
there.
and Grogu.
I think that whatever he's doing can play in conjunction with Filoni's movie when the movie happens. So
okay.
That'd be my guess. I think Ahsoka season 2 is going to lead into Thrawn, or lead into Heir to the Empire style Filoni film. But I think it'll be on our usual galaxy. Like, I think it makes sense for them to have Mando and Grogu go save Sabine and Ahsoka. That way we could finally get Sabine and Mando interacting, because I think that that's just been a missed opportunity this whole time.
Yeah, that's something we've been talking about for a minute.
Yeah. Finally have them meet in a movie. That'd be pretty cool. And then maybe it ends in sort of a cliffhanger-y way where it's like, okay, you know, like, I think that lingering threat of Thrawn still needs to be a big part of the film. And that's the whole purpose for going to get Sabine and Ahsoka, you know, obviously out, is to fight Thrawn on our galaxy now. So that's my guess as to what the adventure is going to be. But all that said, I do think that what Balin is going to go do on Peridia is going to affect what's happening in our galaxy, the galaxy far, far away as well, which I think that'll all, again, play into Filoni's film, and possibly Ahsoka season 2 a little bit. Now, Ahsoka season 2, I don't have a good guess as to when that's going to happen. From my understanding, from what I've heard, Filoni has not even turned in a draft for any of Ahsoka season 2 yet. Not that he hasn't written
Love to hear it.
Not that he hasn't written it, but he hasn't even turned it in, is what I hear. He's been kind of busy putting out some fires. That's what I hear. But I think he has. I know he's definitely been writing, because he's said it in many interviews. He's been writing it. It's just nothing's been turned in yet, from my understanding. So my guess is, like, just to assume, again, which makes an ass out of, what is it? What's the term? You and I or something? I don't know.
You and me, yeah.
You and me. That's right. Yeah.
And you had the right idea.
Yeah. Anyway.
What the hell happened?
I drew a blank.
He said like a pull string that was running out of string.
I did.
He was like,
That's exactly what happened. Man, I don't know. I think that what's going to happen ultimately is we'll have Mando, Grogu, and Rey in 2026, and then 2027 will be Ahsoka season 2. That just feels way too long of a wait. If they could do them both in 26, that'd be great, but I just don't see how that's possible. Like, it makes no sense to me how they haven't, again, turned in a draft for this thing. So I hope Skeleton Crew delivers enough to where we have something else good up until May of 2026. And if not, we're just going to have to pray that Andor lives up to its first season, because there's not really a lot of, like, other than Andor, great things coming, you know, before this. And
yeah, we're gonna be reading a lot of Star Wars novels at some point.
Yeah, but I do think, again, if this is like the adventure to go get Sabine and Ahsoka, this could be a pretty cool movie. Like, and it keeps it simple if you do that too. Like, that's what I like.
Yeah,
it's so simple, it's just easy. It makes a lot of sense. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyway, I'm optimistic-ish about some of the stuff. I do think, from everything that I've heard, and I've talked to you about this a little bit, is like, once we get to the movies, like, we're starting to get out of the woods a little bit. Like, you know what Star Wars needs right now, though? Like, because even when you look at the plots of these movies, like, with the exception of the, again, potentially Heir to the Empire based Filoni film, you know, and that's only, like, potentially at this point. We don't even know if that's true. But, like, when you really start to think about the rest of these things that they're making, like, Skeleton Crew just has nothing backing it except for Jude Law. Like, There's nothing behind, and John Watts, I guess, but like nothing behind that show that makes me go, ooh, that's going to be great. It's like Mando and Grogu, great. It started filming, but what is it? You know, and like, you just don't know. Like, there's nothing to really get the fans hooping and hollering at this point. What Star Wars needs is a really kick-ass idea. And when I say kick-ass idea, I mean like Deadpool and Wolverine. That's a kick-ass idea. Biden dropping out. That's a kick-ass idea. Like, there are really great things that you could do with Star Wars, man. Like, nobody's really like scrounging to come up with what I feel is like a kick-ass idea. And it makes no sense to me. Like, I think that you can come up with something, and it really baffles me even more when we have all the source material. You and I were just talking about Plagueis, and you can adapt that and make a pretty good show. Like, it'd be a really good miniseries, you know? And I just don't understand that. Like, why don't they have, and like, I look over at Marvel, and again, I'm not saying Marvel's like been great. They haven't been, but you know, they have, like, again, kick-ass ideas. Like, their ideas are at least great. Like, the ideas behind some of this stuff. And none of these ideas are like great ideas, you know. They're not. Like, the title of Deadpool and Wolverine is just kick-ass on its own. Like, they don't have that. Yeah. They don't have anything with
tells you everything you need.
Yeah, they don't have anything with the title right now that is like parallel to that, you know, where it's like.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask Simon. We're on the Deadpool Wolverine real quick.
Sure.
So on that title alone, let's say you just got told Ryan Reynolds is returning and Hugh Jackman's returning for both roles, right? Mm-hmm. On that title alone, and those two castings, would you have seen it without a trailer? On that title alone.
100%.
Exactly.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. None of these titles get you in without a trailer. Thank you. Yeah. No, it's 100%. Like,
what is Skeleton Crew? Oh. Do you see merchandises appearing, though?
No, I didn't.
Some people are finding like Skeleton Crew t-shirts like out in the wild already.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's just like, it's the generic image they just put out recently at the poster.
No, I didn't see that.
And what it looked like, it was from like actual like Walmarts and stuff like that, not like, you know, like people that make the shirts and sell them in the mall.
Yeah.
Not like a bootleg shirt, like an actual like release shirt.
Yeah. No, the only thing I would see without a trailer right now is Andor Season 2, and that's because it's coming off that kick-ass first season, you know? But even the first season of Andor was a project that I needed a trailer for. Like, I really did. Even though I know it's predicated from Rogue One, it's like, but I don't know enough about Cassian to really be excited, you know? Like, Rogue One didn't give us enough. Right, and you needed that trailer, and you see the trailer, and it's kind of like, oh, all right, you know, this looks like promising, and then the show it turned out like it was executed pretty perfectly. They have nothing else though that will do that. Like, granted, like for us in the bubble, if like Filoni's movie's called Heir to the Empire, we don't need a trailer for that for us.
Exactly.
But
or if they did a show just called Plagueis, so we're like, okay, cool, we're in.
Yeah, well, Plagueis might be different here because I was thinking, like, I think for us, Heir to the Empire would get us in without a trailer, but would that apply to people outside of our bubble, I guess? You know what I mean? Like, I think you also need that. Like, I think Plagueis might, because people know Revenge of the Sith, you know, and they know Plagueis from that. Heir to the Empire, I don't know if a lot of people outside of our circles really care about that title, but it's better than nothing. Hopefully it is Heir to the Empire. I mean, I think
it's also a good title. It's also a strong title.
I agree.
Like Heir to the Empire.
It is a strong title. Name. I agree. No, without a doubt. And yeah, I mean, it makes sense if that is what the movie's called. From a marketing standpoint, it just makes sense. Like the only reason I could see them like really pulling back on doing an Heir to the Empire title is because you maybe are setting expectation for it to just be like the book for a certain pocket of viewers. Like, I don't think we're gonna expect that. We know what the story is. We've been following Ahsoka and all that, but for the folks that checked out of Star Wars years ago, you know, they're gonna want that movie to be just like the book, and it's not gonna be, you know. So I would say if it is Heir to the Empire, drop that title with a trailer. And then that way it's like, okay, we see the trailer, we see what it's going to be. And like, even on the trailer, when you first drop it on YouTube or whatever, just make the title New Star Wars Movie Trailer, you know, 2020. You know, that way at the end, it's like, Heir of the Empire, oh, you get it, drop it with the trailer. I think that would maybe be the smart way to go if it is called Heir to the Empire. But of course they could always just go with untitled Filoni film. Just title it that. People like Filoni. They'll show up.
The poster's just a cowboy hat and a void.
Almost a spit take.
You see how much nicer the show is when we don't talk about Acolyte kids?
It is so fun. So fun. I did want to look at something though here really quick on that Skeleton Crew. I wanted to see if some of the stuff I'd heard had actually been put out yet about this Skeleton Crew. Because I really want somebody to put this into an article. No, not really. I mean, I'll talk about the stuff I heard. I mean, which is basically like this is what sucks. I heard Lucasfilm is I wouldn't say no faith. They're not confident in this project. Like, yeah, after the reception of Acolyte, like they're not confident. Like, because they thought Acolyte was going to be good. Like, that's what I heard. Like I'm talking like the high ups. Like maybe not even just like Lucasfilm. Like I'm saying like the highest of Lucasfilm all the way up to the highest of Disney. Reviewed
they
this.
Thought this would be the show that would set the path.
They thought this was going to be the one. That's what I heard, and I also heard that now that they know that this is not, in fact, what we've been looking for, they are no longer confident in Skeleton Crew, and I'm like, oh man, how bad is this?
This is not the show you've been looking for.
But I hope by all means, but again, this could be a good thing, because if they thought Acolyte was going to be a banger and they were wrong and they think this show sucks, they could be, it could go the other way too. So
yeah, they could have terrible taste.
So I still say that says nothing. If they're not confident in Skeleton Crew, I say that says nothing. I think that the show could still go either way. I think they just have to put it out and see how it lands at this point. And but the other important thing to remember here for Disney and Lucasfilm, just some lessons for them. I'm no film industry guy by any means, but I will say, let's say Skeleton Crew does hit and it is everything we were looking for. Just to remember that that's what we're looking for, and keep making more of that.
Don't muddle with the formula.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard a lot of different things. I've heard that. Yeah, and this stuff is really out there if you really want to see it. Just none of the trades are really putting it out yet, but they will. One day there will be a tell-all, and we'll all get to read all this stuff. Yeah, man, I've heard, and again, I'm not trying to stir up drama. I've heard Filoni he doesn't like he thought Acolyte anyway was just too dark. That's not saying he messed with the runtimes. Those are two different things. Watch Ahsoka. The runtimes are 40 plus minutes, most of those. He likes long runtimes. I don't know why that rumor got started. That he doesn't like long runtimes. That's weird. No, what he doesn't like is he just thought that Acolyte was too dark. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, but how dark was it? Are we talking like sex scenes and stuff? Because yeah, I mean, that's probably not good for the Star Wars brand, at this juncture. But if we're talking like are we talking sex scenes and foul language? If it was like too dark in that sense, then yeah, I can understand Filoni coming in and saying, yeah, maybe let's at least make sure kids can watch it,
Yeah.
But if we're talking like,
is he the one behind Basil?
I don't know. But I don't think so. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he is like, yeah, you need a little furry fun creature. I don't know.
His inner George Lucas kicked in.
Yeah, maybe. He could be. It wouldn't surprise me. But I also feel like if it was like too dark in the senses, it's just tonally like Andor, then well, that's okay. We can use more of that, because that's what I was told the show was pitched as is like it's Andor with lightsabers, and like Andor with
Definitely not that show.
No, it's not. It's not Andor lightsabers. That's what I was told it was pitched as. It's like it's Andor lightsabers. We're gonna dive deep into the politics. That's what I heard. Leslie Headland came in and pitched. The show got made. Filoni got his promotion right around the time they were in post and all that, and then he was like, "Okay, we're gonna do reshoots and cut some of the stuff down," because he just thought it should be a little bit more kid friendly. And then Headland pushed back and tried to make it dark, and it was push and pull. Not that they were like fighting or anything like that. It was just they just couldn't compromise, I guess. And then so like I guess higher creatives like stepped in and were like, listen, okay, how about this? So you guys can both be happy. Here you go. And then they got their final product, and then I guess they were like the creatives again, the high creatives, Disney to Lucasfilm, were like, hey, this is the one. Nope. Like they really thought they had it figured out. That's what I heard about Acolyte. But enough about Acolyte. The point was overall is they don't think that this is going to be the thing. I mean, I could kind of like read this article too before we get into like San Diego Comic-Con stuff, because this is like, it's not exactly what I was saying, but it does kind of support what I was saying. So like, let's take a look at this really quick.
Take a look. It's in a book. All
right. Skeleton Crew director says that the new show will bring a childlike perspective to the Star Wars universe. Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. And like that's Games Radar's headline. So let's just read this a little bit. Going from awards darling Minari to a full-scale blockbuster like Twisters might have seemed like an unexpected career path, but director Lee Isaac Chung, who I quite like, by the way, pulled it off with aplomb, bringing heart and character to supersized summer spectacle. But it wasn't as if Chung had no franchise experience before his CV before Twisters. He previously directed an episode of The Mandalorian, which I liked the episode at the time, ended up being a nothing burger, but episode of Mandalorian.
What episode was
that? Was the third one with Katie O'Brien's character, and it kind of felt like it had nothing to do with anything. The Doctor, like it was like a well-made episode in a vacuum, but it had nothing to do with the overall story.
Okay, so I don't remember it. So it seems
for some reason it was like the one that was like 1 hour long, and it ended up having nothing to do with anything. Anyway,
it's another fetch quest.
It wasn't. Mando and Grogu weren't even like in the episode. Like that's what.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
I mean, they were, but like for seconds. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, yep. Now I remember.
Yeah.
It's all made episode, but
but I've heard Twisters is good, and I quite enjoyed Minari. So Lee Isaac Chung working on this is kind of fascinating to me. Anyway, that new series, which is expected to drop on Disney Plus in late 2024, is created by John Watts, director of Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies, alongside Christopher Ford, and is said to be the ambulance-style coming-of-age adventure. Follows a group of young children on a journey through the galaxy far, far away. Jude Law will also appear as a Jedi. That's new information. Whoa. I missed this. This should have been bigger news. We knew nothing about Jude Law's character, but he's a Jedi. Okay, there we go. On the Inside Total Film podcast, speaking with Games Radar Plus, Chung teased what we can expect from the show. I can't wait for people to see this thing, he says during an interview for Twisters. It's got a lot of John Watts in it, and anyone who's, a fan of John Watts does. That's what they said about Acolyte with Leslie Headland too, and I promise you, that wasn't Leslie Headland's show. He's very childlike in a beautiful way, in the way that he tells stories and how he captures a childlike perspective and things. He brings that beautiful perspective to the story of young people in the Star Wars universe. Okay, again, like I understand, like it's going for a younger, like Goonies in space. Like I get that. So I'm okay with that. First of all, I had no idea until reading this that Jude Law was a Jedi in the show, so that's intriguing. I that's even cooler than I thought he was going to be, like basically like a space tour guide for these kids up until now. So the fact that he's like an actual Jedi actually makes the show sound a little cooler. So kind of glad we did read this article. But the childlike perspective, again, is like, I get that it's from the perspective of children, but like when I hear Goonies in space, okay, well, I want these kids to be like the kids in the first It or Stranger Things, and you know,
you want them to be likable, real children, not goofballs.
So I just don't know if, like, when he says that childlike perspective, I hope he's not saying like what I was talking about with the Acolyte, I guess, where it's like Filoni wanted kids to be able to enjoy more or whatever. I do hope that, they gave John Watts quite a bit of creative control here, because again, like he deserves the creative control. He did a great job with that Spider-Man trilogy. Like, if you want to talk hits, I mean, he made hits out of those. Granted, that's another one of those, as we were saying, kick-ass ideas. You didn't really need a trailer for Spider-Man, but still, I must say, like, he put a new spin on Spider-Man that I really enjoyed. It's Spider-Man in high school, and he actually did make the kids in high school feel like kids in high school. Like, he did a really great job with those films, and I think he does have a really good perspective on kids, and I think if it really is his vision, and again, I'm not convinced it is, then yeah, Skeleton Crew could be pretty kick-ass. I really believe that, and but my hopes aren't high. I don't know about you, but my hopes just ain't high. It's just, sadly. But I do like the list of directors that they have on Skeleton Crew. Have we talked about that yet?
I don't think I haven't really looked at anything on Skeleton Crew, to be honest with you.
All right, fine. Let's talk about the directors really quick, because that is one thing that does give me like a lot of confidence in this show. Maybe, I mean, that. Let's see. I'm having trouble finding the directors. I know that they released them at Celebration. Oh, here we go. Okay. So for the directors, I'll go ahead and put this image on screen here. So we got some good ones here. One of them I've been saying for a while needed to do with Star Wars. I'll tell you which one. So John Watts will direct an episode or two, maybe. David Lowery, who did Ghost Story and Green Knight and, so on and so forth, is one of the directors. So very excited about him. That was the one I've been saying. After I saw Green Knight, I was like, David Lowery should do a Star Wars. He's got really good like aesthetic for it, and he'd be great.
He also did Ghost Story, right?
Right. Ghost Story and a lot of good films. I like. Yeah, he's a good director. His Peter Pan didn't turn out great, but it's a different thing.
He did a Peter Pan?
He did a Peter Pan and Wendy. Yeah, it's on Disney Plus exclusive. Didn't turn out too great. But it wasn't as bad as some of the other ones, I must say. Like, visually, it looks really good. The Daniels from Everything Everywhere All at Once and Swiss Army Man fame, director on Skeleton Crew. Jake Schreier I'm not as familiar with. I know the name, though. I've heard the name. I think he did like House of the Dragon or something, like a couple of episodes of that, if I'm not mistaken, or Game of Thrones maybe. Bryce Dallas Howard, who we all like every time she steps on, except for when she brings in Jack Black and Lizzo, but that's that. Every other time she's done one, though, she clearly gets Star Wars. And Lee Isaac Chung, who we were just talking about, who did Twisters recently. So the list of directors is promising. I must say, like, it's a good list. It's a better list than honestly, it's a better list of directors than Ahsoka had. Like if you're just looking at them on paper. Although again, I think Ahsoka turned out very well. I'll take that to my grave. But I think that on paper, it's a better list of directors than even Ahsoka had. I mean, Daniel's doing Star Wars. That's awesome. That excites me quite a bit. I think that them and David Lowery, I on record on this channel saying David Lowery needs to go to Star Wars, and they finally listened to me and gave him something to do. So looking forward to that. I don't know. What do you think of the directors? Are you happy with that list or?
So I'm thinking, because tonally, so it's the fellow that did the Spider-Man movies that I love.
Tonally, yeah, you could kind of use that as reference.
He captured that youthful funness the other two Spider-Man, which don't get me wrong, I do like the other two Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But that youthful child superhero that originally Stan Lee wrote, he captured pretty well.
Yep, I agree.
Ned is very rememberable. MJ is very rememberable. And I'm kind of going as a whole here as a show, so I'm kind of processing the information thrown to me.
You're good, man. Yeah, no, this is the first one really talking about it, so.
Yeah. So, like I said, I don't look into it. If it's supposed to be Goonies in space, it could be a complete disaster or just a wonderful show.
Yeah.
I'm going... It's a true 50-50.
Yeah,
with
it
the
really
set of
is.
directors. Because I would probably give it a 60-40.
Yeah.
60 on it being bad, 40 being good.
Oh, okay.
But with the set of directors, even though despite the Jack Black episode, which is one of my most despised Star Wars things,
which yeah, go ahead. I would venture a guess.
I drew a blank real quick.
No,
my brain kind of fracture reset. You
happens to me all the time. Happens to me all the time. Yep, I get it.
Sorry, I've read something that threw me off. I got distracted over here real quick.
Nope, you're good.
Real quick, actually, if everyone's like, Josh, you're acting a little, I'm going to make an announcement on the show. That just happened.
Yeah.
I am a longtime comic book collector.
Mm-hmm.
I love comics. And one of my favorite characters DC, my favorite character is John Constantine, or Constantine. I own his first appearance.
Yeah.
I got it as a gift. It's one of my favorite things I own. I just pulled the trigger, and I just got X-23's first appearance at a 9.4 grade.
Nice.
I just found one. It kind of popped up, and I checked something, and everything went through. And the fact that I got the notification saying the order was processed and completed, it's kind of baffling. So I'm a little dumbfounded. I've been after this book almost my entire life, and I now own one, and it's going to be even different when I hold it in my hands. So side tangent. So if my mood just boosted quite a bit, that's why.
We were talking about Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, I know. These I'm processing like the set of directors. Like this guy did my favorite Spider-Man. He captured the child aspect. Like Spider-Man No Way Far From Home. Is that the one where they're on vacation?
Yeah, I love that movie.
I adore that movie. I think that captures everything I love about Spider-Man.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's a really good Peter Parker movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. And a lot of Spider-Man movies like the Peter Parker aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's the head of this show, great. I think he can pull it off. The Goonies in Space. It's a little weird because that's buzzwords. I don't like buzzwords. I always hated like what's it?
Right.
It's we're like, oh, Army of Darkness meets this, and you watch the movie, you're like, that's not that at all.
Yeah.
You guys just use buzzwords for two cult classics that make me happy.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than Kill Bill meets Frozen. It's like Acolyte had. That was Acolyte.
Something used that?
No, that was Leslie Headland said she pitched for Acolyte was Kill Bill meets Frozen, which like two movies I really like, but I don't see them going together. And as we saw, they really don't. I mean, yeah. So yeah, I like Goonies in Space better. Amblin feel. I think that works for me. But yeah. Do you have anything else on that?
Not really. I in honor of getting Laura Kinney's first appearance, Dom, I'll be optimistic about the show. We're going 60% good, 40% bad.
I go the other way.
There we go. See, there we go. We now have a new Verge.
And it's again. I mean, yeah, no. I mean, I
watch it. Watch when I pay for this down the road.
I hope you're right.
Actually, money leaves my account.
Yeah.
I'll probably be a little bit more bitter about this whole situation.
I hope you're right. I would honestly be very pleasantly pleased with a 6 out of 10.
Honestly, I think Star Wars could use a 6 out of 10.
A 6 out of 10, you ain't doing too bad if you get a 6 out of 10 in there, I would be pleasantly pleased with that if they can at least pull that off, It's like, hey, you know what? It was good. You don't have to say it was meh or fine. It was good. Even if it's not great, they could use a good. Yeah, man. No, that would be fantastic if that worked out. I can live with that. All right. Well, let's talk about San Diego Comic-Con's happening this weekend, and we're getting some boy announcements.
Sorry, everyone, if I killed the pacing of the show. This is I don't know. I'm just very.
No, I'm having a great time with this one actually. I think.
I think that week break and then processing.
Yeah, no, honestly, I'm having a great time with this one. I think it is because we're done with Acolyte. That I'm just like,
and a little behind the scenes, with the kids who are still here. So last episode we did, I kept disappearing a lot. I told Dom about this after the show because we got to take care of. My washer broke and started flooding part of my kitchen. So I had to keep running out and checking on it, and it was very frustrating.
Yeah,
because I was doing laundry I needed for work the next day.
Yeah.
So a little fun behind the scenes. So next time you go back and rewatch it, more views for us, and you're gonna see me get more stressed and more stressed and more stressed.
Yeah.
The opposite of this week.
Yeah, no, I mean, just keep in mind we're officially done with Acolyte. It's nice.
Yay!
We're done. We can move on finally, and hopefully, well, if
maybe Jackie's ghost will leave too.
Maybe. If it ever,
no, she's staying.
I do like that Jackie. I got her figure
I did
the other day. Yeah.
Yes, you got it yesterday.
Yep. But I will say, if there is a season 2, I may have to do that with a different co-host, because I don't think just for those weeks, because I don't think Josh is going to touch the show ever again. If there is, but I'm not feeling optimistic about a season 2 right now. I'll tell you that.
I think we're safe, buddy.
I think we're good. All right.
Maybe 2030 we'll have to talk about that.
But yeah, no, man, I'm looking forward to everything else, the books that we're gonna do, and then maybe the old cartoons, and maybe we even dare touch the Ewok films, you know.
Oh, dude, I am down for that.
I'm down for it too. I think it'd make there's gonna be a lot of alcohol on those shows for me, but we will.
Listen, I want us to do. This is my goal.
Mm-hmm.
A live drunk watch along to the holiday special around Christmas time.
I will do it if people request it. How about that?
I mean, we're doing it no matter what, because this is what I do every year.
Okay, fine. All right. You win. We'll do it. But I will say
it's already on YouTube, so I didn't think we'll get a copyright claim.
Yeah. Looking forward to October. We're going to do a Ahsoka discussion, 1 year retrospective, which I think is going to be awesome. I can't wait to revisit that show. I don't understand some of the, again, I hate to diss on people, but I don't understand some of the takes on that show, like, and where people are coming from. I think everybody was kind of stewing in actor and writer strike shit when that was coming out, and not really thinking about the show itself.
No.
Yeah, sadly. And
I mean, say your channel took a break because of the strike. You didn't really get to cover it.
No, we didn't. But
knowing you personally, I know that killed you.
Yeah, but the opposite effect for me, Ahsoka was what was pulling me out of that sort of shit, you know, like it was giving me positive vibes every week, you know, and then that was the show that was like, it's not that, I tell you, man, that show's a warm hug to me when I watch it. It's so comforting. Can't wait to go back. But let's take
it feels like a true sequel.
It does.
I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
No, you're good.
Probably covering this later, but
that's fine.
I mean, I remember watching like, this is what a true sequel feels like.
I agree, man. In so many ways, I think we're just so on the same page with that one, and yeah, I'm excited to like really dive in.
We'll call that the Echo episodes, because it'll just be an echo because we'll be saying the same thing back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, it would be really cool. You went through the Air trilogy recently, right? Book wise,
I am actually only partway through. For my, I fell out of the audiobooks. Oh God, the third one. I forget the name of the third one, but I was partway through that one. But I only have the third one left.
It'd be awesome to do. Oh man, the Air trilogy leading into Ahsoka. I don't know. We'll see if we can pull it off. I'm not going to make any promises, but I mean, I'm always so down to read Air. I could say that much. I love that book. Think it's great. Let's talk about San Diego Comic-Con though, because I gotta say, man, no matter what the state of some of these franchises are, like San Diego Comic-Con's always an exciting time. Like you said, I mean, we get toys at least. We could expect a trailer or two. It's always exciting, and some of the San Diego Comic-Con. Let's see, we're looking at some exclusive toys here from them, and they have these broken down into category by show, it looks like, which is pretty cool, or projects, so to speak. Acolyte, we're good. Andor, they have Cassian and Deidre Miro coming. No, I'm kidding. If anybody cares, they have Basil and Vernestra for Acolyte.
Okay, so you remember I kept saying that Basil is coming back into the show?
Yeah.
That's what I was referring to. They're making a toy of him. You're getting a Basil toy before you get playing.
Oh, thank God I circled back so you could follow up. Yeah, whoops. Sorry. Anyway, no.
I would have mentioned, like, why'd you not mention Basil?
Yeah. No.
So there is a toy in here.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to go through all the toys and show them. To be fair.
Yeah, no, we will. This is all
there's
my
one in here
fresh
that
reaction.
you'll be shocked that I'm buying.
Okay. Yeah, this is all my fresh reaction. How about we do this? We'll show them too, but let me at least go through and just say which ones I'm actually interested in. Vernestra Rowe, no, I'm okay. Basil, depending on if he actually does steal Ray's lightsaber or not, maybe I'll get it in the future. No, I'm kidding.
If you click it, it'll pull up the figures, by the way.
Oh, if you click
there's images. Yeah. No, like scroll down.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Right there. Yeah.
Oh, so these are all of them. Okay, let's just do this then.
Yeah.
That's a better idea. Good thinking. All right. So yeah, this is what we're looking at here. So yeah, Indara, nah. Yord, nah. I don't know if I want to get Deidre or not. I like Deidre. I need a little more of her in season 2. I think all the characters in Andor are great.
So Deidre's the one I'm getting.
Really? Okay. I'm not surprised by that. I'm not as surprised by that as you think. I think she's a great character. I genuinely, she's a really well written character. Like it
Plus,
makes sense.
In my Empire section of my collection, I have Thrawn and Tarkin, and she'll look good right next to them.
That's my one thing with her. It's like
and Krennic when Krennic comes.
Yes. She definitely needs to be in the collection of Imperials I have around. So she's worthy for that. We got who's the guy in the bottom right? He was in Ahsoka, right? He was one of the Mandalorians in the Mandalorian War in Ahsoka. I can't think of.
I think is
he one of the Vizsla? No, he's not a Vizsla.
That's either going to be a character name or an army builder.
Okay, we'll figure it out. But we got Rex. Looks like. Right there.
When we go through, it'll pull up their name if you go on the next slide because you'll see each figure.
Yeah. There we go. Maybe I should have let you done this.
You're good.
All right. So here we go. So here's Vernestra's. I'm not gonna say it looks good.
Yeah, it's a good figure.
Yeah, it's a good figure. Like it's a good. Yeah, I love the box.
Black Series doesn't really miss.
No, they don't. Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, Basil looks great. as much as like
right?
I'm not gonna get him.
Figure.
It's a great figure, man. They did a good job on these. Oh, there's Cassian. Oh, I gotta get that Cassian.
If I get that Cassian, I will do the pose of him pulling out the gun.
Wow, so they really are doing red and black for all of them, huh? For the boxes now.
Yeah, I think that's the new way.
Okay. See, I love this. Yeah, I love this. Yeah, I'm probably gonna grab
fall this year too. I don't know if you just saw that.
What's that?
Fall this year, so they're coming soon.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. Yeah, so that's awesome. I'll definitely get this Cassian. That's dope. Yeah, Deidre, I could see why you want her, man. I mean, these figures are phenomenal. Let's go back to that.
Look at her side box art there.
Oh yeah, no, it's a sick figure.
That art there, I love.
I agree, man. I might be with you. Let's see. I'm gonna try to prioritize with some of those stuff. Thrawn, I mean,
yeah, that's spot. Vintage style Thrawn, yeah, that's going right next to them.
Ooh, that's a great Ahsoka. That's a fantastic Ahsoka, sir. That's not red and black though. Oh well, it looks good.
I bet you the Ahsoka ones will be
blue
and red.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look here. That's it's just a commando. I thought that one was going to be Rex, but okay, not bad. Is that it? Oh no, we got IG-11.
Oh, there should be some more.
IG-11 and Grogu. Oh, IG-11 and Grogu together.
That should talk. That better talk.
Yeah, if it talks, I might have to get it.
No.
Yes. And you even get the little the species. I can't remember what they called them. The Babu Frick species there.
Yeah, let's call Babu Frick. That's fine.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. Nobody cares. But oh yeah, no, it looks pretty cool. All right, I'm interested.
Yeah, see, Mandalorian's orange.
God damn it, Cobb Vanth, huh?
Yeah, I'll probably grab it. That's like Dempsey Oliphant.
Oh yeah, no, that's a cool figure of Cobb. And it's Mandalorian, not Boba Fett. I like that it has the Mandalorian tag on it. Yeah, that's probably worth getting. So Cobb definitely. Gonna grab him. We got Mando there. We got Mando in the blurg. Oh, that's sick. There a box for that? Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be the vintage line.
It's pretty neat. Well, let's look at this. We got the armorer here. Never
This
been huge on the armorer.
The
though.
playset's cool though. I like the playset a lot.
It's a cool playset. I'll give her that. I'll give it that. Yeah, I've never been like huge on the armorer is the thing. Like I think she's got good moments in the show. Loved her when she was taking down stormtroopers in the season 1 finale. That was super sick. But we never really got enough development on this character, sadly. But yeah, no, I mean it's a cool playset. I'll give you that. It looks pretty accurate. Let's see. Oh my gosh, we're keep going.
Here you go.
Balin.
Yeah,
all right.
there's no figures for these. These are just one's coming, but you skipped one. I think you're gonna be happy about.
Did I
go back? Yeah. There you go.
What am I going to be happy about, Anakin?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's pretty neat. I would love to see the Shadow of the Empire one is pretty cool too. Yeah, I'd love to see what that's going to look like. I hope it's close to like all these have been pretty good.
I mean, they've been on point.
Yeah,
with this new line.
Yeah, I just need to see what if the Anakin looks good, man. I'll probably grab him. Yeah, I think. Yeah, really neat stuff, man. I think they did a good job here.
Yeah, I think they're doing deluxe Balin and
Shen. Yeah, because they had them right here together, side by side there. So vintage, yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be the vintage style.
Vintage, okay. Yeah.
And they just announced a Target Shen coming out.
This is Target.
That's gonna be a deluxe. Yeah, it's gonna be a deluxe figure. So you can find it real quick. It looks nice. I'll send it to you. Target Shen. Yeah, I'll probably double dip on this. Yeah, is this one I have? No, it's not. Okay. So yeah, this is the deluxe version of her Black Series. You can pre-order it right now.
Okay.
And I'll send it for the chat.
Yeah.
One moment. There you go. Do you want to throw that up so people can see it?
Yes, sir. Let me find it really quick again. Or let me go to your link. Let's see. Oh, very nice. Okay, I'll throw this in. Here we go. Sorry for the delay on that, folks. All right. Yep, so this is what the deluxe looks like. All right, that's the Target. All right.
Yeah, it's going to be like the Target's deluxe exclusive.
So sick. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I have to get that.
Yeah, I like the cloak.
That's coming in October.
Yep.
It's right. Yep. About a year out from the show. That's one of the weird things to me. I feel like a lot of the Ahsoka stuff is coming out late. You know, I don't know if that has anything to do with the strikes or not. That wouldn't make much sense, but maybe. I don't know. I don't know how the strikes would affect figures or merchandise, you know, but it seems like it has. Like, I think I you know, that could be partially due to the fact that, you know, a lot of these actors haven't been able to go out to promote the show till this year. And
it could be likeness rights issues too. Maybe they can't sign the likeness.
Yeah, for the actors, right. Because no, you're right about that. That's probably a big part of it is the likeness rights with the actor strike, especially.
I mean, there's already a Shin figure out because I have it, but that could be it.
Yeah, I mean they had stuff coming out, I guess, when the show was coming out, but it seems like a lot of the great stuff for Ahsoka didn't come until way later. Which again, I'm happy about. I'm so glad that I think it's actually, if anything, it's given the show a legacy. It's given it legs a little bit, you know, because you know I think it's like making people rethink it a little bit, like, you know. It's like, yeah, I wasn't hot on Ahsoka at the time, but I guess I like that character more than I thought because I want that figure, you know. Like I'm hearing a lot of that commentary, I think, lately, where it's like people are like, yeah, I wasn't, you know, but at the time, but I guess I liked it more than I remembered. But yeah, man, no, this is really exciting stuff. I mean, it's really cool to see too. I mean, a lot of this, them promoting that show too, because like, like I said, I mean, well, we've had the great opportunity of, you know, being able to, you know, well, we both met Natasha at a con together, and you know, James and I went to meet Rosario and, you know, Hayden. And so that's been really awesome because, like, you could tell they just all love the show. They really do. Like, they actually really are proud of the show. Like, it's cool to see it in retrospect how much they really love the show. And while as unsuccessful as they were, I mean, they even went out and did the Emmy panels and stuff, you know, to try to campaign it, and everybody showed up for those, and so that was cool. So it's, yeah, that's the other thing about Ahsoka that I was like saying about Acolyte. Like, it doesn't feel like anybody was really checked in, you know, with Acolyte, and like with Ahsoka, I think everybody really, you could tell, had a lot of passion for making it. And
it was an orchestra. Like, it was so fine-tuned. Everyone played off each other.
What Lucas called them, tone poems. He was making tone poems. That's what the song was, a tone poem that everybody came together to make. And
I just love doing that. It makes me so happy.
For sure. But yeah, man, no, this is all exciting, man. I can't wait to get some of these things. The Andor one got me more excited than I thought. Looks really good, the Cassian one. And Deidre, I'm kind of with you. I might have to snatch that one. That'd be pretty neat. Anyway, like we said, though, guys, going to be kind of a shorter one here today. So we're going to start wrapping up. Although I think we went for a while. So yeah, a couple hours. So maybe not as short as we thought, but yeah, there we go. But before we get out of here, just want to thank everybody for joining as always. And I'm excited to move on to future weeks and talking about, you know, some of the stuff that we just are more excited to talk about, I guess. Like, you know, like we said, a lot of books that we can dive into. I'm stocked up on books that I need to read through. I fell so behind on books. I don't know how that happened. It really wasn't until, honestly, Ahsoka came out that I started rereading stuff and like actually going back in and like refreshing my memory on some of the stuff I'd already read like years ago, like the Thrawn, the canon ones, refreshed my memory a little bit. And then like, you know, I even went through Air during Ahsoka time. So yeah, it wasn't until then that I got inspired to start reading again. And then Acolytes inspired me to read some books for a different reason, because I just want something better than that. That's Star Wars related. So, but yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to get into a lot of this stuff. And I think that it will, you know, be better for the show overall. But Josh, before we get out of here, man, where can people find you?
Not watching Acolyte.
All right. Yeah, very good. Is your other podcast out yet?
No, not yet.
Has it aired?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, it's not out yet.
We're all waiting. I know you have no control over that, but we're all waiting.
4 people. It's one of those things, like, it's 4 people and schedules.
I get you.
Yeah.
All right,
it'll be out at some point.
All right. I can't wait. I really can't wait. You got a good group there. A good group of people to They'll make that podcast very good and entertaining, I think. Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Dom_Martino_ on Instagram, Dom_Martino_ official. We are available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you subscribe to either of those or follow either of those, then you get the episodes just a little bit early, which is really cool, before they hit video form. So really enjoy that. You can also hit us on the X page at Extract Media Blog, Instagram page Extract Media Blog as well. Once again, this has been Starlight Shadows. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Look forward to the coming weeks, guys. I think it's going to be some of the most fun we've had on the show. I really do, and I'm looking forward to it. And really quick, before we do get out of here as well, talking about other things on the channel, look for kind of an announcement with Movie Mornings. We might be restructuring that show quite a bit, and how we do it, and think it's going to be much better for the future of the show. So, yep. All right. Anyway, guys, I'm Dom Martino, and we will talk to you guys later.